In January, we did my annual 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program where we looked at one thing you could do each day. Well, we're back with the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. In the chaotic world of 2025 and beyond, compliance will become even more important, and you staying on top of your game will help your company move forward. Today on the Compliance Tip of the Day, we begin an exploration of what are the COSO, or what is the COSO 2013 Internal Controls Framework. One of the biggest tools for any compliance practitioner should be the COSO 2013 Internal Controls Framework. COSO produced 3 volumes detailing the framework. The first lays out the framework and is entitled Internal Controls Integrated Framework, called the Framework Volume. The second is an illustrated guide entitled Internal Controls Integrated Framework, the Illustrative Guide. The third is an executive summary, which, of course, is the executive summary. In the Internal Controls Framework update, the basic framework was retained with substantial support from user companies, and 3 specific objectives were added. 1, operations objectives, 2, reporting objectives, and 3, compliance objectives. The 2013 Internal Controls Framework defines internal controls from bottom to top with the following: objectives, which consist of control environment and risk assessment, control objectives, information and communications, and monitoring. From these 5 objectives come the 17 principles, which we'll look at in a little more detail in the next several Compliance Tip of the Day podcasts. The 2013 framework was based on 4 general principles, including the following. The updated framework should be conceptual, which allows for updating of internal controls and compliance programs as they evolve. 2, internal controls are a process which is designed to help businesses achieve their goal. 3, internal controls applies to more than simply accounting controls. It applies to compliance controls and operational controls, and it all starts with tone at the top. The responsibility of effective internal controls resides with literally everyone in an organization. My good friend Joel Howell noted that the COSO 2013 framework can be seen as both a preventive and detective document or set of controls. He also related that your internal controls needs to be sustainable over the long haul. You cannot just build one-off things that allow you to do one period and not have a process in place that's going to help you throughout all the periods of time that you need to cover. The controls cannot be just a one and done. Many companies are going to find their initial approach to all of this is one and done. As we will explore, the compliance practitioner should understand how the entire framework of the COSO framework interacts and intersects with your company functions in a manner which is sustainable throughout the organization. The updated framework retained the core definitions of internal controls, those being control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communications, and monitoring. Further, these 5 operational concepts are still visually represented in the 3-dimensional COSO cube. The criteria used to assess the effectiveness of an internal control remains largely unchanged. The effectiveness of internal controls is assessed relative to the 5 components. However, its emphasis is on the principles, which is not new. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Number 1, you must use the COSO framework for your internal control structure. 2, the internal control framework identifies 5 areas: control environment, risk assessment, control activities, and information and communication and monitoring. And finally, it's not a one and done. Your internal controls must be sustainable throughout your organization for all reporting periods. One of the things that I'm happy to do for you, the compliance profession, is if you have a question or a series of questions you would like some compliance tips on, I'm happy to take any requests that you might want, certainly anonymize them, and give you a quick tip. Either one quick tip or maybe a week's worth of quick tips. So if you have any tips you want about your compliance program, you can shoot me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This podcast was created and produced with the assistance of AI.